Hey there. This is Ron the Wanderer, Amani Nabaraka. And I'm here to share some things with you, my thoughts, my experience, things that go on in my head, because I'm always thinking. And I read cue cards because I don't remember everything, but I read them and I'll break them down to you as I go along, okay? So I have a few videos on here, so go check them out. And if you want to comment, put them in the comments. I read them. Anyway, one of the things that I wrote this time, well, these are thoughts that have been in my head for a long time, and I wrote them a while ago, and it's time to get them out. So this time, what I'm going to read is purpose. This is my experience, not yours. So if you can relate, okay. If not, maybe it's not for you. All right, purpose. I was born here for a purpose. The purpose has been unknown to me for a long time. Being conformed to the teachings of this system, I've ignored signs of my purpose. I've been distracted by lust, desire, ego. I couldn't see what my purpose is. So had I nearly had been distracted, and I said nearly because I'm not distracted anymore. But I've been distracted for a long time of a purpose that I was born here because I'm like, why am I here? Why do I exist? And I just never knew why I existed. And I always thought that it was for a purpose, but I didn't know what the purpose was. And whatever talent that was in me, whatever was already in me, you know how the Bible says, raise a child in the manner that they should go and it will stay with them. It never said in the manner that the parents think they should go, but in the manner that the child should be in. So if I'm a thinker and and I speak a lot and I write a lot, maybe I need to be into acting or something like that, or be a motivational speaker. Something in that manner, something that puts me in a direction that I'm already in. We can tell the direction our children are in right from the start if we pay attention to our children. But one of the problems is a lot of people don't pay attention to the children, so they don't know what position they should be in. So I couldn't see what my purpose is. I've nearly died medically 3 times, and once by my own hand, and I survived it all. I numbed myself with drugs and managed to stay sane. I've been through heartbreak badly, and I've been resilient. I've been confused, yet I'm a clairvoyant person. I can go on and on. Now I realize that when I begin to surrender all of the drastic thoughts of feeling of what has happened to me and start looking at the lesson in all of this, I start seeing a purpose. So I couldn't see a purpose before. Never knew what it was. Didn't understand what the purpose was. But then I started to surrender things that I had been feeling. I've been feeling abandoned. I had low self-esteem, and it hits the floor. And sometimes my self-esteem still is down, still is low. But I've had it a long time. And because I've been alone and I had lustful desires. Might as well keep it real with myself. And I started partaking in the things that wasn't kosher for me to be in because of the ways that I felt fleshly. And my self-esteem started to rise up when I started to surrender all those things that had made no sense to me and the ways that I was conformed to a system of things. So I started to rise above those negative feelings and started feeling differently. And I started to understand that there must be a purpose in my life. And I had to stop running to understand what the purpose is. That of what's needs for me to do. Purpose is an intended aim or desired goal. What I tell you, I really never conceived the project that the universe was leading me. I never really conceived the project that the universe was leading me to, in spite of all the evidence before me. The things I've been through, choices that I've made, what others have shown me, has been a message of what I need to do. I was so wrapped up in with my self-centeredness that I overlooked the aim. And once again, that was the purpose, the intended aim. Yet I didn't understand what the aim was. But the aim was there the whole time. See, I've been a truth person. My motto is to keep it real. That's my motto. Keep it real, you know. And in other words, be truthful. Stay truthful right from the beginning. I used to tell my children, I can deal with you as long as you tell me the truth. Then I know how to deal with you. But I can only deal with you with the lie that you told. So just be truthful right from the beginning with. And I can learn how to deal with it better, the circumstances with you better, you know, regardless of what it was. You know, so I looked at my aim. I'm like, okay, I have something that I need to do. And one thing that I realized I needed to do was speak the truth. You know, I've been conformed, like many of us, has been conformed to the system of things, you know. I remember in the Bible it says, don't be conformed to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So change the way that I think. And I've been thinking things that was conformed to me. So I believe that they were right. But once I started thinking outside the box, I'm like, some things just don't seem right. It doesn't add up. It has taken years of emotional and mental pain for me to surrender to the purpose. It's not my purpose. It is God's purpose. See, God has a purpose for me. See, I have a purpose, and it's always a selfish, self-centered, self-righteous purpose. I always have that. It's always about what I think. What I think. But what about what the Creator thinks? What the source thinks? What about what God thinks? What about that? Because that is the purpose in my life. I didn't put myself here, God did. So there was a reason I'm here. So what is the purpose? Now, each one of us has a different purpose. I don't know what everybody's purpose is, but I got to figure out what my own is, all right? I just carry it out. I just carry out God's purpose. That's all I do. Once I accepted all things have been through, all things that I've been through has been a way for me to understand how to express truth, love, empathy, compassion, not just in words, but in actions. See, I've learned how to say a lot of things. I've learned how to express a lot of things that I say. But if I don't live those things out, I'm just a bunch of crap. You know, I'm a person with the hot air in my lungs and no action to back it up. I could say I love you, and if I don't show you that I love you, you know, by thinking about you, caring for you, being there for when you're going through hard times, you know, trying to understand what you're going through. Well, if I can't do that, I'm just talking, I love you. It means nothing. You know, nothing. A prostitute loves you as long as you pay them. You understand? A mechanic loves you as long as you bring the car to them that's broken. You know, a politician loves you as long as you vote for them. So it's really about action, you know, and sincere action, okay? So let me see here. So this can awaken people to change if they would give themselves a chance to hear what has been said to them and see what has been shown to them. My purpose with my self-centeredness that I overlook pain and the aim. Let's see. Oh, no, I'm sorry. My purpose here is not complicated. It's only that way when I refuse to do it. So my purpose isn't complicated. And excuse me for reading the wrong card. That y'all get a little confused sometimes. But my purpose here isn't complicated. I just complicated it. It's not really complicated. But when I surrendered a lot of things that I felt that I was going through, and the things that I felt like wasn't right in my life, and the people I met wasn't good for me, when I started to surrender all that and look inwardly to what God wants me to do, it really wasn't complicated. I find that God simplifies a lot of things in my life. I'm just the one that complicates it. Excuse me. I'm just the one that complicates it, and I make it confusing for my own self. And it's only that way because I refuse to do it. See, when I don't really want to do it and when I run from it, it becomes complicated. It becomes difficult because I just refuse to do it because it's not in the form that I'm used to. And that's the conformity of what the system has taught me through school, church, and through the police, and family dynamics that has been conditioned to teach me a certain way that I should be, and it really isn't a good thing. So I now know what to do and what I have been running from for years. Disrupt what has been normalized, shock the belief of lies taught to us. To understand who we are, I know my purpose. See, I've begun to know my purpose. And I just said it, to wake people up from lies that's been taught to them that they've been so conditioned to. And that's not an easy thing to do because we can be so conditioned to something to the point that when somebody shows us something different from what we've been conditioned to, it's difficult to snap out of what we've been taught to what we start to believe in. We've been so conditioned to the point where if you said something different to me, I wouldn't know how to receive it because it's not in line with what I learned to believe all these years. So I really have to keep my mind open. That's why I have gifts of clairvoyancy, discernment, willingness, courage, expression. This helps me to bring the message out clearly without misunderstanding or understanding. I know that I am, or we are, the existence of the energy, the inner God, because in this place that we live in, this reality, this is the inner God that we live in. This is who we are. We are the God here on this planet, in this realm, in this reality that we live in. That's who we are. We hear, we learn, we try to engage with others, and a lot of times we teach others what we've learned. And sometimes we pass on misunderstanding, and it becomes a conditioning. And once we're conditioned, it's hard to break that habit because that's what it is, a habit long learned till it becomes believable, And sometimes it seems all right, but we don't know who we really are. Experiencing that which has been created, accepting the boundaries